Now gonna just really quickly run through a sample presentation that someone might give to their community. So I'm going to talk through these slides a little bit more quickly than maybe you would if you were giving the presentation, just pointing out a couple things. But I want to say these slides are available in PowerPoint format for you on Basecamp, and you're welcome to download them, change them, use them for your community as you see fit. And I should say that I should give credit to my former boss, Steve Barry, great presenter, who made some of these slides. So some of these did not originate with me, but I packaged them together because I think they might be helpful to you. So if I were a steward living in the Ben Oaks community, which is on the Severn River across from Arlington Echo, this might be a presentation that I would give my community. So, hi everybody, thanks so much for coming. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the river that we love. We live right on the Severn River, and we all know that that river is polluted, and I'm going to give you some ideas of how we can help as a community. So this is my daughter Rosie, and many of you remember last summer when she learned to swim right down here on our beach. And in fact, many of your kids also have enjoyed swimming on the beach. You know, this is the part of making the presentation really personal. So clean water is really important for me. It's really important that I can feel good about my kids enjoying that water. And the reason that we all live here is this resource. So it's really important to me that we all take care of this great resource that we have so that it's available for our kids. So the Severn River leads, as you know, into the Chesapeake Bay, which is a pretty big body of water. And we've been trying to restore the bay for a long time without a whole lot of success. And we know now that there are 3 causes of water pollution here in Anne Arundel County. And I might pause and ask people, you know, what they think the 3 causes are and solicit a little bit of communication. But essentially, these are the 3, with stormwater being the one, and you want to define that. So also for definitions, and particularly for this illustration of stormwater, how stormwater works, it's important to understand what a watershed is. And I'd ask people if they know what a watershed is. Sometimes people are pretty well versed on that. If you have kids in the room, they probably know what a watershed is. So you can give that invitation or that definition. So here's a little illustration of how a watershed works. So the Chesapeake Bay watershed is outlined in red, and it encompasses parts of 6 states and the District of Columbia. And what happens is that the watershed, the area of land surrounding the body of water, works just like a funnel. So when the rain falls anywhere on the land, it eventually drains into that body of water. So all the rivers and streams and the runoff from all land areas eventually flow to one point. And it's this flow that really is degrading our waterways. And if you think people are interested, you can talk through the impairments and some of the information about the local area. So one of the reasons why stormwater management has been, why stormwater has been so problematic is the way that we manage it. So we collect it from our roofs, it goes in downspouts, into storm drains, and then when it's discharged out into the stream, it causes a lot of erosion. So this is a view from an airplane, and you can see Ben Oaks right, and you could point to the area where Ben Oaks is. And we know that after it rains, a lot of times we see this chocolate milk. And this is the big problem that we are trying to prevent. And that chocolate milk is called stormwater, and it contains all kinds of nasty things, many, many, many pollutants in that stormwater. But there's 2 big pollutants that we're really concerned about. One is called sediment, and the other is nutrients. And you might sort of solicit what people think the big issues are, and what's the problem with sediment and what's the problem with nutrients, and sort of explain what those are. But here's an illustration of why sediment and nutrients are our two big monsters. So here in the Severn River, a healthy Severn River would have nice clear water with lots of underwater grasses, and you can see the crabs hiding in the grasses and the fish. And we all like to fish and crab, and it's really important that we have those grasses for oxygen, for habitat. But when we get stormwater coming in, that chocolate milk, what it does is it blocks the sunlight. And you can actually get people to guess, so what's the problem with the sunlight being blocked? Well, the grasses need the sunlight. And if the grasses don't have enough sunlight, they're not producing oxygen, they'll die back. And then you won't have as many grasses, and away go some of the fish and crabs. So then what happens is that along with the sediment, we have nutrients. And the nutrients cause something called an algae bloom. Algae are these little microscopic plants that live right up at the water surface. And when excess nutrients are added to the water, they explode, they grow like crazy. But they don't live very long. They also block out sunlight. But even worse, they don't live very long, and when they die, they are decomposed by bacteria that actually eat up oxygen. And so they really create a dead zone where there is not enough oxygen for fish and crabs to live. So that's the big problem. And then lastly, that sediment, when it settles out, it can fall to the ground and it can smother oysters, plants. It can also fill in areas that we're trying to use for navigation. Many people here have boats, and it's really difficult when we get our slips silted in and have to get them dredged. So stormwater is the major cause of our waterways being polluted. And most of that stormwater is coming from private property, and so you can talk through this chart if you think it's good. But the good news about that chart is that we really can make a difference, and what we do is really the only thing that can make a difference, because most of the stormwater is coming from your house and my house and our neighbors down the street. So I'm a watershed steward, and I'm going to talk a little bit about something called rainscaping, and it's the process of helping stormwater when it falls on your property to slow down, spread out, and soak in. So what I'm going to be doing is on Tuesday, March 25th, I'm going to be hosting a Rain Barrel Expo. It's going to be right here, and you're going to be able to learn how rain barrels work, learn if a rain barrel will fit on your house and how to get one and how to install it. Because if each of us installed just one 55-gallon rain barrel, we could keep 11,000 gallons of polluted runoff out of our river each time it rains. So it's really pretty exciting what we could do together. So I hope, again, my name is Stacy, and I'd really like for you to contact me if you have any questions or if you need any help. And together we really can make a difference for Ben Oak. So I hope you'll join me on the 25th. Okay, so that was a really, really quick run through of those slides. Obviously, you would take a little bit more time and do a little bit more question and answering and talking with your audience. But what did I want people to know as a result of my presentation? I wanted them to know that stormwater coming from our properties is the leading cause of pollution to our river. I wanted them to know that they really could make a difference by slowing water down on their own property. And I wanted them to know that I'm a master watershed steward and I can help them. What's the one thing I wanted people to do as a result of my presentation? Call me, be in contact, come to my rain barrel workshop, and then lastly, learn more. So I hope these slides are helpful to you. You can use this presentation, make it your own, and I hope you have a lot of fun with it.